Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. My name is Madhava Haridas, and thank you for taking time to spend some moments here in the Association of Devotees. So today we had big celebrations yesterday and day before yesterday, and consequently we have some less attendance. So we will chant some prayers, and I wish to read from the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, and we can have a discussion afterwards. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today I wish to speak from the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, and before I begin I humbly seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Yes, please distribute. Thank you. I seek the blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas so that I can speak something, I can repeat something that the previous spiritual masters, acharyas have given for my own purification, and also if it inspires someone to become more conscious of Krishna, become more attracted to Krishna, to remember Him always. That is the purpose of life, to develop love for Krishna. So before I begin, it's a very nice thing to glorify the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. And there are few verses that are there that we can just to inspire, right? So, Srila Prabhupada writes in the introduction to the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, and I will just read this. Bhagavad-Gita is a transcendental literature which one should read very carefully. Gita Shastram idam punyam yah patet prayatah puman. If one properly follows the instruction of Bhagavad-Gita, one can be freed from all the miseries and anxieties of life. Bhaya shokhati varjitaha. One will be freed from all fears in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. Humble request, please don't keep the Bhagavad Gita on the ground. These are the words of God. So we should treat Bhagavad Gita with utmost respect. So there is also another verse that says, Gita dhyayana shilasya pranayama parasya cha naiva shantihi papani purva janma kritani cha. That it says that if one reads Bhagavad Gita very carefully, very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. Further it is said that mala nirmojanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gitamrita snanam samsara malanashanam. One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water, but if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So pretty important, huh? Makes sense to read the Bhagavad Gita. So before I begin, how many of you have read the Bhagavad Gita? You have? Okay. You have completely? Huh? Just the translations, okay. Anyone else? Fully, like verse, translation, purport? Okay, good. So they all have taken bath in the sacred Ganges water of the Bhagavad Gita. Huh? So, today what I wanted to speak on was the first chapter, first verse of the Bhagavad Gita. And been meditating on some of the very interesting aspects of the Bhagavad Gita, and I wish to have a discussion with you. So we will read the verse 1 of chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. This verse is called the seminal verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Just like a semen produces a child, this first verse, where Dhritarashtra asked a question of Sanjaya, this leads to the whole narration of the Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra, and that is what is captured in this book. And there are 700 verses in the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, and this verse is the first one in that. This comes as part of the Mahabharata, but this Bhagavad-Gita as it is very well known as the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. So let's read this verse, okay? I will read and you can repeat, please. Dhritarashtra uvacha. King Dhritarashtra said, Dharmakshetre, in the place of pilgrimage. Kurukshetre, in the place named Kurukshetra. Samaveta, assembled. Yuyutsavaha, desiring to fight. Mamaka, my party, sons. Pandavaha, the sons of Pandu. Cha, and eva, certainly. Kim, what? Akurvata, did they do? Sanjaya, O Sanjaya. Okay, now we will read the verse and you can repeat. Dhritarashtra uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. Would anyone like to repeat? Lead? Would anyone else would like to read the verse? And we can repeat it. Sanjaya, sorry, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Sanjaya Uvacha comes next. Please continue. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. Do you like to read? Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. Anyone else? Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. Anyone else? Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta-yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimma Kurvata Sanjaya. Okay. All right. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Purport: Bhagavad-Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, or glorification of the Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad-Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad-Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad-Gita in that line of disciplic succession, without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Shri Srinitaya Sachinandande Bhagavan ki jai. The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was the word Dharmakshetraya, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably, because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjaya was a student of Vyasa, and therefore by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so, Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. So it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharmakshetre and Kurukshetre apart from their historical and Vedic importance. So I will read the translation one more time. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So, as I said, this is the seminal verse of the Bhagavad-Gita, which goes on. This is the only verse that is spoken by Dhritarashtra in the Bhagavad-Gita, which comes in the Bhagavad-Gita. And then Sanjaya, in reply to his question, narrates the rest, the 699 verses, which forms the rest of the Bhagavad-Gita. And Dhritarashtra is a very interesting personality. He was the eldest son, but he was blind from birth. So, would you put a blind man in charge of an army? He cannot even fight himself. He is always dependent, right? From his very early birth onwards, he was dependent on others even for basic necessities of life. But he was the eldest son, and due to his disability, his younger brother Pandu became the king. And the sons of Pandu were known as the Pandavas, 5 sons. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. And by ability and also from order of appearance, Yudhishthira was the elder and also the most qualified to become the next king. But Dhritarashtra had his own ambitions, and he wanted to see his sons, especially his eldest son Duryodhan, as the king. And he became a party to various planning, mischiefs, outright murderous campaigns by his sons, led by Duryodhan. In the Vedas, it is described, the king is described as Naradeva. Naradeva means the representative of the personality of Godhead on earth. So that's a very highly responsible position. And the people are called as Praja. Praja means one who has taken birth. So it doesn't just involve humans. It involves everyone, the plants, the animals, everyone is supposed to be protected by the king. What to speak of those who are directly under the shelter of the king, that is the Pandavas. So the Pandavas, after the loss of their father Pandu, after the death of Pandu, came under the shelter of Dhritarashtra. And they were fatherless. So it behooved Dhritarashtra to extend all protection to the Pandavas. To the contrary, Dhritarashtra was a willful participant in the scheme to eliminate the Pandavas. First, it started off with rumors, outright propaganda to belittle the Pandavas, their position, who they are, casting doubts on whether they are legitimate even. Then it came to sidelining them and trying to eliminate them through various schemes. And Dhritarashtra was a party to all of that. So he was blind physically, but he was also blind spiritually. And here, he was doing all this. He is calling my sons, right? He is saying that my sons are the Kurus. He is classifying them as part of the family, and he is calling the Pandavas as separate. So you can see the intent. And he is doing all this for his son, Duryodhan. He is partial towards his son, Duryodhan. And it is very insightful that Duryodhana didn't accord the same kind of courtesy towards Dhritarashtra. Duryodhana would actually make fun of his father behind his back. He would always call him the blind old king. So just imagine some son is calling his own father the blind old man. It's an insult. But that's the way Duryodhana would treat his father. And here, but still Dhritarashtra was very much attached towards his sons. And he was quite concerned, anxious even, when he poses this question that desiring to fight, what did they do? Now this is in one way, one can say it's a stupid question. That let's say a whole bunch of people went to a restaurant and they sat down and the meal is served and I ask, what did they do? Well, they ate. That's why they went to the restaurant for, right? And so here they have assembled in a place of battle. And Dhritarashtra is asking, what did they do? Right? Of course, they have assembled for fighting. What will they do? Right? It's quite natural. But here the concern is shown by the choice of the words Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra. So Dhritarashtra, it says, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely here, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably because by nature they were all virtuous. So he knew that the place, Kurukshetre Dharma Acharavat, it says in the scriptures that Kurukshetra is a place where dharma, rituals of religion are to be performed. So he knew that the place where they have chosen to fight is a place of pilgrimage. And he knew that the sons of Pandu, the Pandavas, were all virtuous. They always stood on the side of truth. And he knew about his own sons, their qualities. But still, he was fearful that there shouldn't be a compromise between the two parties. That out of influence of the place, all of a sudden his sons will say, okay, you know what, my dear Pandavas, we have wronged you all our life. Let's not fight this war, right? Let's back off. We will give you your rightful share. He was worried that that shouldn't happen, right? So he is asking this. He also knew that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is on the side of the Pandavas. He already had experience of Lord Krishna's powers. When Lord Krishna walked into the assembly of the Kurus as a single messenger, and Duryodhana tried to arrest Krishna with the purpose of killing him. Krishna showed a partial form of his universal form, and none of the soldiers could even approach Krishna. The entire Kuru army was present, and nobody could even touch Krishna. And Krishna just walked out of there, unarmed. Didn't even invoke the Sudarshan Chakra or anything, just walked out. And Dhritarashtra knew that this very same Krishna is present on the side of the Pandavas, but he still wanted the war to happen. Dhritarashtra's position is very interesting. He knew the inevitable, but he was desiring for the impossible. Dhritarashtra knew that the Pandavas will emerge victorious. But he still hoped that, yes, my side will prevail. Because his hope was based on many eminent personalities like Bhishma. Bhishma, who has never known defeat, right? He was present on the side of the Kauravas. And so he was sort of counting on them. Now, there is another detail to this, that many people think that this was live telecast. Yes, it was live telecast from this point onwards. And this kind of a narration, this kind of television technology is not available now. where a person can see hundreds of miles away. Right? So the war was fought in a place known as Kurukshetra, and this conversation is happening in Hastinapur, which is close to present-day Delhi in India. And it is very interesting that in those days, wars would be fought away from where people lived. Not like today, like indiscriminate bombing. Let's kill children, women, old people, everyone. Collateral damage, right? No, they had, even in those times, even with parties like Duryodhana and everyone, the war would be fought away from population. Settle the matter there, and, the victor. Find the victor. But anyways, this conversation happens when Bhishma Dev fell. So on the 10th day of the war, Bhishma Dev falls. And then Sanjaya rushes back to Hastinapur and he narrates this. That's why in this verse, if you read that translation, it's in the past tense. What did they do? He didn't ask, what are they doing? So Dhritarashtra is anxious to know what is happening, what happened after that. Another person who is anxious, whose anxiety we will come across, is Arjuna. And Arjuna is on the side of the Pandavas. He is the third son of Kunti, the person who was chosen by Krishna to narrate the Bhagavad-Gita. And Arjuna had a change of heart at the battlefield, not Duryodhana. So the Dharmakshetra influence was on not on Duryodhana, but on Arjuna. Arjuna, in spite of being the wronged party, if we just count the number of occasions in which the Pandavas were humiliated, Arjuna was in a very rightful position to be angry, to be upset, to be itching for war. But we find quite the contrast in this Bhagavad-Gita, where Arjuna actually becomes compassionate and he makes statements like, why do we need to fight this war? What is the use? Right? He asks question like that. Duryodhana didn't have a change of heart. In fact, Duryodhana was very much like, let's do this. Right? We see that those statements. So Arjuna becomes compassionate. And in fact, it gave a glimmer of hope to Dhritarashtra when he heard the words of Arjuna, where he says, Karpanya doshobahata svava prichhamitvam dharma samudha chetaha yat shreyasya nischidam bruhi tanme shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. That Arjuna is saying, now I am confused about my duty and I have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. That is very heartening for Dhritarashtra to hear. But Arjuna does something, he doesn't stop there. He says, in this condition, he is talking to Krishna, in this condition I am asking you, Krishna, to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. This is the turning point in the Bhagavad-Gita. So even though Dhritarashtra was initially heartened to hear these words, that Arjuna is saying, I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. It's like the star player of the opposite team comes to bat. I don't know what they call in baseball, but in cricket they say to come to bat. What do they call in baseball? Same thing? Okay, good. So, and the star player becomes all like, I don't know if I want to bat. Everybody is counting on Arjuna. All these armies have assembled. Millions, there were 640 million people on that battlefield. Quite the battlefield, quite the number. So the star player says, I don't know if I want to fight. Not only it was like, I don't know if I want to fight. Right? He is crying, literally crying. And Dhritarashtra was, okay, hope. Right? Because the only thing that stood between Kaurava's victory was Arjuna and Krishna. But the second part, where Arjuna says that I am asking you, Krishna, to tell me what is best. Please instruct me. Right? And Krishna, for his part, Krishna is the best friend of Arjuna. He didn't say, my friend, I know how you are feeling. I see your point. Because most of the first chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna is speaking. Krishna is just sitting and listening. And one may expect that, Arjuna is his best friend, so at least empathize with what Arjuna is going through. No. Krishna starts pretty heavy. He says, anyone knows the verse? He says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Ashocyan Anvashochastvam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase Gatasun Agatasumscha Nanushocanti Panditaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what that is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So Krishna takes on a pretty heavy position. So Arjuna is already down, feeling very bad. And Krishna is calling him, while speaking learned words, you are mourning. You are lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. It's like, in effect, he was saying, you are a fool. You are speaking learned words, but you are mourning for what which is not worthy of grief. Pretty heavy statement. Right? And Srila Prabhupada explains in that purport that as soon as Arjuna surrendered unto Krishna, Krishna took on the role of the spiritual master and instantly corrected his disciple. Till then, Krishna kept quiet. Right? There was one verse, he says, just see, Seneyor Ubhayor Madhye, right? He says, just see the armies on the both sides. That's all Krishna did. He only said, just see. He didn't say anything else. Right? Everything else from that point onwards in that conversation came from Arjuna, lamenting and all that. And finally he said, right, he put down his bow, Gandiva, and he said, Govinda, Krishna, I will not fight. So it's not even doubt that whether I should fight. He actually came to a conclusion also. Okay, I will not fight. Right? But the turning point is that where he accepted the supremacy of Krishna and he requested Krishna for help. So, as I said in the beginning, two people were anxious in this situation. One was Arjuna and the other was Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra actually was anxious. And you see, Dhritarashtra actually sat and heard the 700 verses of the Bhagavad-Gita. Is it not? He didn't say, okay, let's fast forward, let's see what's happening. Right? He actually sat and heard the whole Bhagavad-Gita. He also heard the narration of the universal form of the Supreme Lord in the 11th chapter, where Krishna himself is declaring, right, that these people are already dead, killed by me. You can act as an instrument. Right? He is telling Arjuna. So Dhritarashtra is also hearing this. But we see two different outcomes. So one person who heard this was Sanjaya, and the other person who heard this was Dhritarashtra. But Sanjaya came to a different conclusion. Sanjaya says that Vyasa prasadat shrutavan etad guhyam aham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat sakshat katayatah swayam. This this verse comes in the 18th chapter, the final chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, and towards the conclusion. And he says, this is Sanjaya saying, by the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard this most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. And he goes on to say, the final verse of the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharah, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Sanjaya says, this is the concluding verse of the Bhagavad-Gita. He says, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So Sanjaya came to a different conclusion, or to the right conclusion, not to a different conclusion, to the right conclusion. But Dhritarashtra didn't. Because even though both of them heard the Bhagavad Gita, even though both Arjuna and Dhritarashtra were anxious, the intent behind approaching that hearing was not the same. Dhritarashtra's intent was different. Sanjaya's intent was different. Arjuna's intent was different. So they were not the same. So Dhritarashtra came, even though this was on the 10th day, he knew his most qualified person in the army, Bhishma Deva, has fallen. He could have stopped the war. He was the king, but he didn't. This is why Dhritarashtra knew the inevitable, but wanted the impossible. And his actions were in line with that. And this is the amazing situation, that people who are vested in a certain outcome, no matter how the situation changes, they are not changing their ways. The writing is on the wall, as the saying goes, like the writing is on the wall, right? But they still ignore and hope against hope that, okay, it will not happen to me, right? The word that is used there is yuyutsavaha, desiring to fight. Both parties had a desire to fight. In fact, in a class, Srila Prabhupada explains that this word yuyutsu still exists as jiu-jitsu, the Brazilian fighting, right? That word comes from this, yuyutsavaha, desiring to fight. And the writing is on the wall, but still Dhritarashtra doesn't change. We can take this in our own lives. We know the writing is on the wall, right? People know that they are going to die. People know that this world is filled with miseries, and where there is no problems, all of a sudden troubles arise. Shri Shri Nitai Sachinandan Dev Bhagavan ki jai. They know this. They know that they cannot even take one single paisa with them on their death. Still, a hope against hope, we make plans. Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam shesham sthavaram icchanti kim akurvata taparam. Yudhishthir, in the Mahabharata, there is this question that is raised to him in a very extraordinary circumstance where all of his brothers are laying dead. And this question is being posed to him. What is the most wonderful thing in the world? And this reply is given by Dhritarashtra. What a state of mind, what a composure. He says, Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam. He says that every day, every second, every moment, there are countless living entities dying, going to the abode of Yamaraj. They are dying. But Shesham Sthavaram Ichanti. The rest of the people who are aware of it, who know that, they desire permanence in this world. Sthavaram Ichanti. They desire, okay, it won't happen to me. It happened to my neighbor, but not me. It won't happen. And they make plans. And he says, what is more wonderful than this? Pramathamucher itikritya chintaya pravurdhalobham visheshu lalasam tvam apramatta sahasabhivadyase chullelihano ahir ivakum antakaha. Lord Shiva says to the Prachetas in the fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this statement comes. He says, Pramathamucher itikritya chintaya, that every living entity makes plans, right? They make plans to enjoy. I will do this. Today I will earn this much. Tomorrow I will earn this much. In that way they make plans for year after year after year. And Lord Shiva is saying this is pramatha, madness. They know they are going to die, but still they make plans. Pravurdhalobham vishayeshu lalasam. To enjoy the senses, they do all kinds of things. But he says the Supreme Lord is like the snake that is just waiting to strike the mouse. At any moment, death may come. So one should, what is the conclusion? It is not that, oh, this is a pessimistic philosophy. It is a realistic philosophy. One should understand the purpose of life. One should not be like Dhritarashtra, hear the whole Bhagavad-Gita and come to a different conclusion. No. One should be like Arjuna, right? Who said, I surrender unto you, right? He said, I will do as you say, Krishna. That is needed. So the message I wanted to convey for today is, one, to read the Bhagavad-Gita very scrutinizingly, carefully. Understand the message of Bhagavad-Gita. It is not a pessimistic one. It is actually an optimistic one, because as I read in that beginning, where some of you were not there, but it says here that if one properly follows the instructions of Bhagavad-Gita, one can be freed from all the miseries and anxieties of life. Bhaya shokhadi varjitaha. One will be freed from all fears in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. So one should scrutinizingly read the Bhagavad-Gita, understand it, discuss it, and imbibe it, apply it in our lives. And that is the purpose. The purpose of human life is to develop love for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said the problem is that we are afraid of God and in love with Maya or illusion. We want to reverse that. That means we are in love with God and we are afraid of Maya. Don't flirt with Maya, Srila Prabhupada would say. Don't flirt with Maya, thinking that, oh, I am so able that I can do it. No. Just follow the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita and one's life will be successful. I'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments, reflections? Yes, Mataji?
I have one comment and two questions. The comment is, there was such a nice appreciation when you said that Kurukshetra actually changed Arjuna's heart and not Duryodhana's heart. It's a very nice perspective. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Question is, Prabhu, I didn't understand in the beginning when you were saying Sanjaya rushed back after Bhishma Pitamaha left.
Yes.
So then it's not like a telecast, right? Like that he means he saw, or I didn't understand. How did he hear what happened?
So this is a detail. So when Bhishma Dev fell, Vyasdev, that's when he blessed Sanjaya with this ability to see from far. So on the 10th day, when Bhishma Dev fell, Sanjaya rushed back to Hastinapur to relay this news to Dhritarashtra. And from that point onwards, so he narrates the full Bhagavad Gita, and then the days that followed, the rest 8 days of the war is being then narrated as it's happening. So this,
What about Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu? Because Krishna purposely goes in front, like he parks the chariot in front of Bhishma Pitamaha and Dronacharya so that Arjuna gets bewildered, right?
yes,
He didn't fall, right? And
he didn't fall.
Bhishma Pitamaha was not dead by then, right?
No, this is like, what did they do? So the words, if you see, it's in the past tense. What are they doing? That's present tense, right? You see, the words itself is different. The tense that is used is past tense. So when that question was asked, then Sanjaya is describing that first there is Duryodhana's words are there, where he goes and, toots his horn, so to speak. And then the happening of Arjuna being taken in between, right? Arjuna is asking Krishna to be taken in between the two bad armies. That all happens after that. So it's like a continuing narration from there. Does that make sense? So it's like recounting happened, and then the words spoken by Krishna, that all comes, and then when Arjuna decides to fight, right, and the battle begins, right, and those all narrations are being then spoken by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra.
Sanjay able to hear their conversation, he was not there nearby.
He was there in the battlefield when the first narration happened. That he was there in the battlefield, but on the 10th day, all this has happened already, right? And then he rushes back. Maybe I'm not able to understand your question well, but Sanjaya is recounting this, what all happened for the first 10 days till Bhishma fell to Dhritarashtra. He says, including the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Does that make sense?
We can discuss this separately, but one more question.
Rest of you all understood what I am saying, or is that doubt still there? Did you understand or no? I'm just sorry, I'm continuing on that question. But you had two questions, or?
But you let her ask her.
Okay.
I was wondering, why does Sanjay also say what he also talks about their own forces and stuff, and shouldn't they already know that? At the very beginning?
No, he is capturing word by word what exactly was spoken. So it's not glossing over the details. He is actually verbatim saying what happened. That is the power of personalities then, where they can remember exactly what was said. Not like glossing over. Yada, yada, yada happened and then this happened. No? They were very particular about that. Does that help? Okay. All right. Is it okay? We'll stop now. If there are follow-up questions, please come see me. We can take them up. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya Nitya Sachinandana Gaura Hari Nitya Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitya Sachinandana Hari Nitya Gaura Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Srila Gurudev Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Nirvishesha Pashata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
I'm here to support you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Jaya Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Shyam Sundar Shri Radhe. Radha Shyam Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Srila Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Sota Sadhishtavang Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Sota Sadhishtavang Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Dham Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Angaranga, Shri Prabhupada Ki, Shri Nitai Sachinand Bhagavan Ki.
Hare Krishna. So Ram is going to chant the Singhadev prayers. The prayers will move the board out here. It's his last Friday here for some time, so he's going to be going to school, so let's chant enthusiastically with him, okay? Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Ladadaine Prahlada Ladadaine Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Singhaya Prahlada Ladadaine Prahlada Ladadaine Hiranyakashi Akashi Shaha Hiranyakashi Purva Hiranyakashi Anakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsingho para To Narsingho To Narsingho para To Narsingho Yato Yato Yamita To Narsingho Yato Yato Yamita To Narsingho Yato Yato Yamita To Narsingho Yato 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 Narsingho Bahir Narsingho Hridaye Narsingho Bahir Narsingho Hridaye Narsingho Bahir Narsingho Hridaye Narsingho Bahir Narsingho Hridaye
Narsingho Narsinghamadem Sharana Prapade Narsinghamadem Prapade Narsinghamadem Sharana Prapade Narsinghamadem Sharana Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tano Benga Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubenga Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubenga Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubenga Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev 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 Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol विक्रमनाशक श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव भगवान की भक्त राज प्रहलाद महाराज की जग गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
Thank you, Ram. Hare Krishna. So, welcome all. Maybe can we move this backwards, this board? Are you all doing okay? Relaxed? Post-Janmashtami decompression? We were very busy for the last, I think, since Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So thank you all for coming. I think I recognize most faces. So was everybody here for Janmashtami? Was there somebody who missed out on Janmashtami? Here? Oh, I'm sorry. So, post-Janmashtami celebration. Every day is Janmashtami, somewhere in the universe. So thank you for coming. Anyone here for the very first time? Can you stand up and introduce yourselves, like where are you from, etc., and your name, where you're from, what brought you here? Are you all together? Separate? Are you? Okay. Why don't you go and, what's your name? And yours? Okay. So you just are traveling through Oregon or what?
I live in Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, my parents actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You.
he's my roommate, and my parents were visiting, so I just came to know that. So I brought them back.
Where do you live?
Sorry?
Where do you live?
Portland. I'm really a big girl.
Oh, okay. We have a little book, magenta-colored book that you can, you know, sign up your email ID, and we'll send you about festivals, etc. So you can get it. Okay. So thank you. Thank you, Parujis. Thank you. Thank you for coming. If you're his roommate, come with him regularly if you can. Hare Krishna. Have a safe journey back to India. Where in India are you from? Ahmedabad. So, hope things are going well there? Okay. Hare Krishna. You're from Mumbai? You're from ISKCON Juhu. What's your name?
My name is Rajaram. All my children are studying there.
In Juhu. Oh, at the Gopal Garden or where?
Bhakti Vedanta Swami.
I see. Very good. I don't know whether any of you know that we had Kirtan Premi here a couple of months ago, and there's that video that Bhakti Charu Maharaj and others made of Abhaya Charan, right? Some of you may have seen it. So Kirtan Premi Prabhu went through the Bhaktivedanta school too in Mumbai, and he played Srila Prabhupada at that stage of his life where he's playing little boys playing Mardanga. That's Kirtan Premi Prabhu. Just some miscellaneous facts. And yourself? Okay. So you came from where? New York. To Portland to be with your son. Oh. Okay. That's how it occurs. Yeah. Srimati Radharani makes us attracted to Krishna. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Please keep coming. Since you now live here, come here regularly. Are you here by yourself today? Oh, okay. So please come regularly if you can. We'd love to have you here. You can put your identifying information like email, contact in this book, okay? Okay, thank you. Any anniversaries or birthdays? Oh, let's appreciate them. You know what to do. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, it's your son's birthday? How old is he now? Oh, yes. I think you were helping Krishna Kesha Prabhu told me. So Prabhuji's from Vegas, right? And they're visiting here. And Nimai Gaura Sundar now is 4 years old. And I think he's feeling some... And I was given darshan of after the deities honored the Sunday feast plate. Raj Bhog, fantastic. Mataji's here? Oh, Hare Krishna. I saw you on Janmashtami Day, right? Wonderful. So how long are you here? What brought you here then? Other than Shishinathai Sachanand? Oh, okay. I see. So you live here? You have family also, like children? Hare Krishna. And your daughter? So Sunday school is going to start after Labor Day. Anybody over 4 can enroll in it. So if you want to come and bring your daughter. Oh, your daughter. You can bring her to Sunday school too. That way we'll pull you to the temple. You know how it goes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Congratulations. I saw you here chanting and you seem very blissful. Why don't you move here? You like the heat. Job. Yes, please come. Shishinathai Sachanandan are just wonderful deities and very merciful. Everybody who's near them feels their compassion, right? You guys don't sound at all enthusiastic, but they're amazing deities. So, come. You're celebrating them. I see. Congratulations. What's your name, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Excuse me? He can come become president here. We'll offer him one in the U.S. Hari Bol. He must have a lot of, he must be very advanced. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, thank you. You're going to stay until when before you leave? Okay. Please come and have darshan. I know William Prabhu said that you were here for Mangal Arati. Please come. Every day is open from 5 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. Okay? Let's appreciate them and wish Nimai Gaurasundar a happy birthday with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Congratulations, Prabhuji. Thank you for being part of our congregation. That's in the kitchen. Okay. I was just told that there's a cake in the kitchen that's going to be cut. So, like, little, mothers and little children that want to go for his birthday's cake cutting ceremony, please go. So, okay. And then any other anniversaries, etc. So, on a kind of more somber note, my mother, Gauranga Devi Dasi, her sister passed away on Janmashtami Day in Toronto. So she's feeling sadness of separation. Her sister is also a devotee, and her husband told me today that when she came off the breathing machine, he repeated shlokas glorifying Srimati Radharani that were particularly ones that they were fond of, and they agreed that at the last minute of life they would chant that to in each other's ears, and so he was able to do that. Her name is Maya Nautial, my mother's younger sister. So please pray that she can achieve spiritual destination and be with the devotees serving Lord Krishna. Shivancha kalpatrubhyascha kipo sindhabhye cha titanam pavnebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Excuse me? What's your Narottam Vilas Prabhu's grandfather also passed? And what's his name? Narayan Pandit. He's in Kerala. So Narottam Vilas Prabhu's grandfather passed away on Janmashtami Day in Kerala. Narayan Pillai, Prabhuji Ki Jai. Let's pray for his well-being and the well-being of their extended family. Shivancha kalpatrubhyascha kipo sindhabhye cha titanam pavnebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. So, I was about to say Shri Ram. Ram is getting ready to leave on next journey, next phase, be opposite end of the United States. And I heard his father's Bhagavatam class this morning, and he was talking about, did you guys hear the Bhagavatam class? You had better things to do, right? I'm joking. So he was talking about how, there's this attachment that we develop for our family, and that's very strong. We know that, and how cleaning up the house, kind of, I guess, downsizing in a way, not necessarily physical structure, but in terms of items, has been challenging because they see all that where you were associated with, and they remember that, and then it's it hurts to let go of some things. So I know they feel great attachment, but they have a lot of confidence in you, and I'm sure we all do, and I'm sure you'll do well. You're a very nice devotee. I've had a chance to know you since you were a little kid, when the vast majority of time was your dad scratching your back, but you were always a strong devotee. I remember your brother was having when you were little, some sinus issues, and he would always be there to kind of support you and protect you. I saw that from the very beginning, so very nice. Thank you very much. We would like to give on behalf of the temple you probably aren't going to be going to the MIT class in this, but you could try with tilak and Vaishnava attire. So this has been offered to the Lord. So on behalf of our community to you, we'd like to present it. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. So maybe you can visit Boston Temple and have appropriate attire. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to say some few words to congregation, or you're not a person of many words from what I've seen? But
thank you so much, everyone. I'll keep coming back in breaks and everything, but yeah, thank you very much.
Looking at you seriously, so she's expecting you to return.
We'll be back in like 3 months.
I know. For you, it's 3 months. For them, it's like 12 years or more. Yuga. It's hard. But you had a chance to spend quite a bit of time this throughout the year. You're pretty back regularly. It's not, so, and you spent summer, so we'll have you for a little bit longer, right? Yeah. So you'll be here for Radhashtami. Okay. You're here, what day do you go back?
Like the day after Radhashtami.
So I hope everything goes well. It will. And I was thinking you might be around for Rath Yatra, which we always join Beaverton Parade. That's our kind of go-to, and they're kind to us and they welcome us. So it'll be on Saturday, January 10th, that we'll have the Beaverton Parade. Sorry, September 10th. It's a Saturday. So we'll send out details in a little while, okay? And let's see. So our next big festival is going to be not this coming Saturday, but the subsequent Saturday. It'll be Radhashtami, and we'll have a Vaishnava devotee from Seattle. His Grace Arjuna Sakha Prabhu is going to come here and give some lectures and enthuse devotees. From what I understand, he's very wonderfully empowered the youth in Seattle to take up chanting and etc. on a dedicated manner, so that should be a very nice gathering, okay? Anybody who wants to sponsor any items for the deities or for Bhoga, for Radhashtami, I think the calendar is still open on Radhashtami. I didn't see any sponsorship. So, you know, the usual garlands, flowers, decorations, Bhoga, those sorts of things can be offered to Shishinathai Satyanandan, right? So, and I think William Prabhu has a little announcement. You want to speak? So, any questions? Oh, yes, thanks. I told him I would remember, but I forgot. We took out a lot of items on Janmashtami Day, as you all know, and then we brought all of them back in, for safekeeping of the temple. So part of the item was the full set of Bhagavatam that we usually put in that bookcase, so that devotees who are here and giving class or wanting to read Bhagavatam have access to that. And they were brought back from the tables outside intact in here, and they were put in that table there. And Bhagavatam is 12 cantos, so unfortunately Canto 4 and Canto 7, part of each, is missing. The BBT does not make individual cantos like Canto 4, Canto 7. You can't like put it in the sequence. So if any of you happen to accidentally have misplaced it or thinking they're yours, but they're not, if you can please bring them back, because we have no real way to complete the set with that. But that may not happen, but at least we owe that to Srila Prabhupada to request that. One last announcement, there's somebody who lost it looks like a wedding band on Janmashtami. If any of you are missing a wedding band, I think Bhakti Rasa has it, so let her know, okay? It's like what color is it? It's black? Okay, so it's a simple, round, blackish colored ring, presumably of Prabhu, okay? William, do you want to say something? You can stand up and say.
I sit.
You can sit.
So as Jayasijanandan Prabhu mentioned, Radhashtami is coming up, and we're all getting ready to celebrate with great fanfare. I'm sure you're all very excited and hopefully not too tired from Janmashtami. As Jayasijanandan Prabhu mentioned, we're going to have a really special guest visiting, and another great thing about this guest is that he's really fired up the Seattle youth to attend their wonderful morning program. And so they have such a wonderful, strong morning program in Seattle. Youth are attending, Mangalarti and class regularly before school. And I was thinking about how it would be such a wonderful opportunity to bring devotees together for just, once in a while, even one festival, if we could all come together and make it to the temple on Radhashtami for Mangalarti with Arjuna Sakha Prabhu and other senior Vaishnavas. And to chant from morning until the end of the program for Srimati Radharani. So the 9th stanza of the Guru Vashtakam prayers, which we don't sing during Mangalarti but are part of the song, say that one who chants that song very loudly in the Brahma Muhurta gets the direct service of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. And I'd say that's a pretty good sell. So just reminding everyone that the temple is open at 5 a.m. and Radhashtami, I think the pujaris and the temple, everyone I think would really appreciate a big crowd to chant for Nitai Sachinandan and Radha Shyam Sundar to be here with them. And so just requesting your presence that morning and hoping to spend such a wonderful, blissful morning chanting and hearing with you. So Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So you can come join Prabhu, and at some point, he's going to go off to school. So if some devotees, some youth here, some adults who live nearby or live far, if you have time, please come and be present for the awakening of the deities. I presume prasadam is ready? It's getting, but I know birthday cake cutting is going to occur. But since not everybody was here yesterday, I wanted to, and yesterday was Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. So there's this, most of you have probably seen it, there's this beautiful video. It's only 8 minutes long of Sri Guru Vandana, the prayers written by recognizing the importance of the spiritual master and Guru. So if you can kindly turn your attention, and we'll turn off the wall sconce and come closer and have darshan. Can the curtains be please closed? Okay. So and come closer because this is not going to project like your laptop. Okay. There'll be prasadam left over. Don't worry. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma लोकेर जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया एबे जास घुसुक त्रिभुवाना एबे जास घुसुक त्रिभुवाना आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया 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 एबे जस घुसु त्रिभुवाना एबे जस घुसु त्रिभुवाना प्रभुपाद पतित पावना गुरुदेव लोइलो शराना जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव मिठाई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jagat Guru Prabhupada ki jai. So yesterday we observed Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja. You know, Vyas people think is just one personality, but there are many Vyas Devs.